Here's a summative review for lessons 5.7 to 6.3. First question, write a following quadratic in vertex form. So this is in standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. And we're going to change it to vertex form. Our steps are going to be, we are going to separate c, factor out a. So in this case, we would take the a out of the first two terms and separate the c value. Our second step is going to be to complete the square. So in this case, completing the square, I would need to add 4 to this. I'm getting that from half of b squared. Now, by adding 4 to the problem, that is adding 16 to this equation. So I will also need to subtract 16, keeping it equal. Then I'm left with 4 times, this would be x minus 2 squared. 7 minus 16 would be a minus 9. This is always half of b, and this is b squared. Now, this is vertex form, right there, and your vertex would be the point positive 2, negative 9. Number 2, graphing a quadratic inequality. So we need to graph this parabola in one form or the other. We could change it to vertex form like we just did, or some things that are important is that the y-intercept is always c. So in this case, the y-intercept is a positive 1. Your vertex, the x-coordinate to the vertex is negative b over 2a, which in this case would be a negative 4 over a negative 4, which is 1. To get the y-coordinate, you plug 1 back in, making sure you square the 1 first, times the negative 2 is negative 2, plus the 4 is a positive 2, plus 1 is 3. So my vertex would be the point 1, 3. Then, using the a value, we're going to go over 1 and up or down the a value, over 1, up or down 3 times a, and then 5 times a. In this case, the a value is a negative 2, so we're going to go down negative 2, down 6, down 10. So you can see over 1, down 2, then I would go over 1 and down 6 from here. Same thing on the other side. And now this is an inequality. It is greater than, which means it's a dashed parabola. And we'd be shading above it because it's greater than. So we'd shade above this, which is basically to the outside of the parabola. So that's graphing an inequality, a quadratic inequality. Okay, to solve a following quadratic inequality, you could graph this whole thing, but the main problem or the main idea here is to get the x-intercepts, which are the solutions to this. So I'm going to solve this quadratic, which you could do by either graphing it, factoring it, completing the square, or using the quadratic formula. I'm going to potentially try to factor this, so I'd have 3x and x. I need 5 and 1. It's 5 5x and 3x. I need a positive 2x, so I need a positive 5x minus 1. Therefore, my solutions are a negative 5/3, positive 1, which means this parabola will cross the x-axis at 1 and at a negative 5/3. Now the parabola, because the a value is positive, opens up. If the a value would be negative, it would open down. But I know it's got to open up. It's going to look something like this. The question's asking, when is this less than 0? Which means, when is it negative, or when is it below the x-axis? Which in this case is right here, where it's below, which is between the two values. So my solution would be everything between 5/3 and 1, but not equal to. Okay, the next problem is simplifying. First of all, we've got a power to take care of here. So we need to take everything in the parentheses to the third power. This would be a cubed, b to the 6th to the 3rd. And now I've got 2 cubed is 8. This is power of a power, which means I multiply those. That would be a to the 9th. This would be b to the 18th. Now I'm still taking this times a negative 3 a cubed b to the 4th. Multiplying, I have 8 times negative 3 is a negative 24. Taking a to the 9th times a to the 3rd. I have the same base, and I am multiplying, so I'm going to keep that base. I'm going to add the powers. B to the 22nd. Multiplying, so in multiplying here, I'm going to distribute the 3x. So I would have 12x cubed minus 6x squared plus 9x. I distribute the negative 2. I'd have a negative 8x squared plus 4x minus 6, which would be 12x cubed minus 14x squared plus 13x minus 6 after combining like terms. Next simplifying problem is division. So when we divide these, we're going to divide the numbers. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. When you are dividing two numbers with the same base, you're going to keep that base, subtract the powers. So that would be to the negative 2. Here we'd keep the base, subtract the powers, which would be x to the 5th. We should never have a negative exponent, so I'm going to make that power positive and move it to the bottom. X to the 5th could stay on the top. Okay, so many properties of exponents there. The main ones are, if you're multiplying two numbers with the same base, keep the base, add the 2 powers. If you're dividing two numbers that have the same base, keep the base, subtract the powers. If you have the power of a power, keep the base, multiply the powers together. And if you have a negative exponent, take the reciprocal of the base to the positive power. Hope this helps you. There'll be another part to this video also.